Hey, brilliant people. So today's question actually comes out of an earlier video that I've done, because I did a video a while ago on how the future belongs to the creative class, how because things are becoming more automated, that in many ways what is going to become more and more valued in the future is our creativity. And because of that, not surprisingly, the question has been asked, well, how do I join the creative class? So let's talk about that. Right, so just quick recap. I will try to, in the editing, somehow put the link to that video somewhere. If not, I'll put it down below in the description. But let's just quick recap. What is the creative class? Well, the creative class is that. It's like people who have found a way to tap into their own personal genius to bring out their creativity. They're remembering that they're brilliant, so they're living from their brilliance to some degree. They're being creative, and that has become their life, their career. Here we are on YouTube. For a lot of us, that we're just sort of sharing things, but there are some people who have, YouTube and social media is their creativity, and they've been able to make a life for themselves out of that. But, any form of creativity can actually mean that you can join the creative class by getting it to a point where it really supports you. So how do we do that? Well, that of course can be a very long process. So today I'm just going to give you a quick little hack to get you started. Now, I have talked about in another video about the link between happiness and joy, and again I'll try and link that. But happiness is what we feel when the world around us is being very supportive of us. Joy, however, is more of an internal feeling. Joy is what we feel when we are aligned to who we really are, but particularly that aspect of who we really are that is more connected to our creativity. Because joy and inspiration, they're really closely linked. So the more that we experience joy, the more that we consciously work to develop it, almost like a life habit, the easier it is for us to dip in and out of our creativity. I think I've done another video somewhere about the flow state. I'll check that. If I have, I'll link that as well. If not, I will. I'll do a video on it at some point. But the flow state is also, when people are at their creative best, they're in the flow state, and that is again that state of being connected to yourself, to who you really are, but in a very active way. And in many ways, that is the essence of creativity. So this is what helps us form our hack. So what is the hack? Right, let me get down to it. So the hack is this. Obviously, if you know how to get into flow state, just practice that. But if you don't, how to get started? Well, how to get started is just start getting together a list of what I call your small joys. So for me, joys or happiness, could be either. So like a happiness could be a sunny day. This is mine. Could be a sunny day, or a really good cup of coffee, or a really good croissant. So they're the happiness things. They're the external things. The joys are, for me, well, feeling that state, but Also giving myself time to do my writing, painting if I get the chance for that, bushwalking. There's other things, but they're more than happinesses. Even though I'm doing things, and sure, I could just sit and meditate and connect deeply enough that I'm just feeling that joy. But there are these activities that take me into that state of internal alignment, that the joy, it's just easy to feel it and to let it flow. So this is what you want to do is, if you're not really sure at the moment between the difference between happiness and joy for you, that's fine. Start with happiness, but just start practicing what I call the small joys. Yeah, because they can be tiny. If you're on a walk and you see somebody's cat lying on the fence, stop and say hello. They can be very simple little moments, but the more that you practice them, you're practicing a few really important things. You're practicing, first of all, giving yourself permission to have the joy. You're also practicing your awareness of what gives you joy. And that is a really important thing, particularly when you then add into it, appreciation for that moment of joy. Like you're allowing yourself to have it. You're accepting that there are things, even on your worst days, there are these little moments of joy. And the more you lean into them, the more that then, like initially, they'll just happen kind of like passively. They'll just, something will happen. So they're a bit more like happiness. But then as you start to recognize what they are that gives you joy, you'll actually go from being passive with it to being active with it. So because you know the things that help you connect to yourself in that way, that takes you into your joy, which takes you into your genius, you know what to do to help yourself really tap into it. There are a number of creatives, myself included, who, like, if I start writing, I may not actually be in such a good creative alignment to start with, but just starting to write after a little while, that connection occurs and then the creativity starts to flow. Now, a lot of the times we think about that in a very special way, like it's around my creative stuff, so it's around my writing or my painting or my cooking or whatever it is that's your creative thing. But the more that you actually do that with everything that you're doing, whether it is the housework or the gardening or, answering emails, the more you look for those moments of joy, or look for the way that you do it that gives you joy, the more you're going to be able to lean into it. And then the more that you can have creative moments, even when you're doing the most mundane things. And the more you do that, the easier it will be to then start to develop your unique creativity, which is an expression of your brilliance. And then that, sooner or later, once you start to do that, you're going to see the things, first of all, that really sustain you. So they're the things that you're going to want to be doing long term anyway. And secondly, you're going to start to recognize the things that other people really connect to as well. And so those are the things, like your creativity, that is actually inspiring for other people. So you're starting to create mutual inspiration. Well, that then is something that you can really build a creative career out of, and hence why you can join the creative class. But it all can start by making a list of the small joys. And look, if nothing else, it just means you're practicing joy, and isn't that a good thing? So go and practice your joy. If you have some questions about it, comments below. Otherwise, go and practice your joys and remember that you're brilliant.